Fellow gardeners, let's be honest. We've all stood in the garden center, calculator in hand, watching our dream garden plans crumble as we tally up the cost of decorative planters, garden structures, and landscape features. I've been there too, staring at a $200 price tag on a basic trellis that I knew I could probably build for a fraction of the cost. That's when I realized the most beautiful gardens aren't necessarily the most expensive ones. They're the ones where creativity meets resourcefulness. Over the years of documenting garden transformations for Soil Sage Chronicles, I've discovered that some of the most stunning garden features come from items that were destined for the landfill. Today, I'm sharing the budget-friendly secrets that have helped countless gardeners create magazine-worthy spaces without breaking the bank. The first mindset shift every budget-conscious gardener needs is learning to see beyond an item's original purpose. That old wooden ladder gathering dust in your garage isn't just taking up space, it's a vertical garden waiting to happen. Those ceramic mugs with broken handles aren't trash. They're charming herb planters that add personality to your windowsill. I learned this lesson early when my neighbor was about to throw away a set of old rain gutters. Instead of heading to the curb, those gutters became the backbone of my most successful vertical lettuce garden. The key is training your eye to see structure, drainage, and growing potential in everyday objects. Start by walking through your home with fresh eyes. Look in your basement, attic, and that corner of the garage where things go to be forgotten. You'll be amazed at what you find when you start thinking like a garden designer rather than a homeowner trying to declutter. One of the fastest ways to add visual interest to any garden is honestly through creative container plantings, and you really don't need to spend a fortune on those matching pottery sets. Some of my favorite planters, well, they've cost absolutely nothing. Old colanders make fantastic hanging planters for strawberries, the built-in drainage holes are just perfectly sized, and the metal adds this sort of industrial chic element that, complements both modern and rustic garden styles. I've seen gardeners create stunning displays using everything from worn-out work boots, which are just perfect for succulents, to vintage tea tins that are, honestly, ideal for herbs. The secret to making mismatched containers look intentional is really about finding a common thread. Maybe it's color spray painting diverse containers in coordinating shades of sage green and cream, or perhaps it's material grouping all your galvanized metal finds together. Or, it could be size creating a collection of small containers that you can arrange and rearrange as your plants grow. Don't overlook the power of elevation changes either. Old wooden crates turned upside down create perfect pedestals for container gardens. Stack them at different heights to create a tiered effect that draws the eye upward and honestly makes your space feel larger and way more dynamic. Every beautiful garden needs structure, those vertical elements and defined spaces that give it bones and character. Professional landscape designers charge thousands for these features, but you can create equally stunning results with some creativity and weekend time. Old wooden pallets are absolute gold for the budget gardener. They can be transformed into vertical planters, garden gates, or even rustic fencing. I've seen pallets turned into stunning herb walls where each slat holds a row of mason jar planters. The weathered wood adds instant character that new materials simply can't match. For those looking to create garden rooms or defined spaces, consider salvage doors. An old door, properly treated and weathered, can become a gorgeous garden gate or even a standalone art piece when covered with climbing vines. Windows too can be repurposed as trellises for climbing plants or as decorative elements that add architectural interest. Broken concrete pieces, which many people pay to have hauled away, can be arranged to create charming pathways or retaining walls. The irregular shapes actually create a more organic, natural look than perfectly uniform pavers, and over time, moss and small plants will grow in the cracks, creating that coveted aged appearance. Garden lighting transforms any outdoor space from functional to magical. But professional installation and high-end fixtures can cost more than many of us spend on plants in an entire season. The good news is that some of the most enchanting garden lighting comes from simple, repurposed materials. Mason jars filled with battery-operated string lights create instant lanterns that can be hung from trees. placed along pathways or clustered on tables for evening entertaining. The soft, warm glow filtering through the glass creates exactly the ambiance that expensive landscape lighting tries to achieve. Tin cans punched with decorative patterns and fitted with tea lights or battery candles cast beautiful shadow patterns on garden walls and pathways. During the day, they're charming rustic accents, and at night, they transform into magical light sculptures. For larger areas, consider repurposing old wine bottles as solar light holders. Simply remove the labels, insert inexpensive solar stake lights where the cork used to be, and arrange them throughout your garden beds. The colored glass, whether green, brown, or clear, creates beautiful light effects while adding vertical interest during the day. The sound of water in the garden is incredibly soothing, but commercial fountains and water features often come with hefty price tags and complicated installation requirements. Some of the most effective water features are also the simplest to create. An old ceramic pot with a crack that makes it unsuitable for planting can become a beautiful bubbling fountain with a small submersible pump. Stack different-sized pots to create a tiered effect and let water cascade from one level to the next. The imperfections in vintage pottery actually add to the charm and create a more natural, aged appearance. Even simpler is creating a bird bath from stacked terracotta saucers of different sizes. Use a large saucer as the base, flip a smaller pot upside down for the pedestal, and top with another saucer for the water bowl. This design is not only budget-friendly but also allows you to adjust the height and proportions to fit your space perfectly. For those with slightly more ambition, consider creating a small pond using a large ceramic or plastic container sunk into the ground. Surround it with stones and plantings to disguise the edges, add some aquatic plants, and you've created a focal point that would cost hundreds if purchased as a complete water feature. Never underestimate the transformative power of paint. A few dollars worth of exterior paint can completely change the character of found objects and help them integrate seamlessly into your garden design. Galvanized watering cans, buckets, and tubs can be painted to match your home's trim color or to complement your plant choices. Chalk paint creates a beautiful, weathered finish that looks like it's been in your garden for decades. Metallic spray paints can turn ordinary objects into statement pieces. Imagine copper-painted containers gleaming among green foliage. For a more natural approach, consider aging techniques. A mixture of yogurt and moss, brushed onto concrete or ceramic surfaces, encourages natural moss growth that creates an authentically aged appearance. Salt mixed with paint creates interesting texture effects, and distressing with sandpaper can make new materials look comfortably weathered. The most beautiful gardens are personal expressions of creativity and care, not showcases of expensive purchases. Every item you rescue from the discard pile and transform into something beautiful adds character and story to your outdoor space. These aren't just budget solutions, they're often superior to store-bought alternatives because they're perfectly customized to your space and style. Start small with one project that excites you. Maybe it's turning those old rain gutters into an herb garden, or transforming a broken ceramic pot into a charming planter. As you see the results and gain confidence, you'll find yourself looking at every potential discard with new eyes. Remember, the goal isn't just to save money. It's to create a garden that reflects your personality and creativity. When visitors ask where you found that unique planter or stunning garden gate, you'll have the satisfaction of saying you made it yourself from something that was headed for the trash. If this article has inspired your next garden project, I'd love to see your creative transformations. Subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for more budget-friendly garden ideas, and don't forget to share this article with fellow gardeners who are ready to think outside the garden center. Together we can prove that the most beautiful gardens grow from creativity, not credit cards.